So let's say the boss walks by and says, you know what, I can't read that name, and I don't like the placement, I don't like that brown banner there. Try something else. Well, what we can do is, if we've made a mistake, is undo it. So let's hit Command Z. I'll turn on my mask here. And Command Z. So there's Command and Z. And that will undo the last thing you did. Not too hard to understand. But what we also do is, if you think about it for a minute, it's kind of logical that you would expect if you hit Command Z again, it would go further back in time and take off more stuff that we've done. But Photoshop doesn't work like that. So if I hit Command Z again, it actually recolors the thing again. So basically what Command Z does is it toggles like a light switch on and off just the last thing we did. Okay? So what we want to do is, if we truly want to step back in time, we have to use a different keyboard combination. We have to use not Command Z or Control Z on the PC. We have to use Command Option Z here on Mac. So there's Command Option. Now when I hit Z, it'll get rid of the color. If I hit it again, Command Option Z, it goes back in time again. It goes back to a few other changes we made. It's now uppercase and lowercase, and we've changed colors a few times. Gets rid of the whole type layer. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to turn on my layers so you can see what we're doing. If I hit Command Option Z again, the marching ants come back on, the selection, the color goes away, and the marching ants go away. Okay, now that is undo, and that stuff lives over here. There's undo state change. That's just the one, that's the toggle we talked about. Step forward and step backward. So step backward was what we've been doing all along. Option Command Z. By the way, when you do a keyboard shortcut, these modifier keys, Command, Option, Shift, it doesn't matter what order they go in, as long as they get pressed on before you actually hit the letter, just so you know. But we can also step forward in time, so that's Shift Command Z. So we can actually step back forward through what we did. So Shift Command Z, and we can put all that stuff back until the very end. Okay, well, that's all great, but I wanted to show you something else that goes along with that, and that is the History panel. Did I not hit the History panel? Let's try that again. Turn off Info, turn on History. There we go. Now, by the way, I've had this open. This is what it typically looks like when you first open the History panel, and you have to actually go to the corner or this bottom here and then drag it down so you can see all of what's going on here. And what I did was Command Z, right? So Command Z should do this. For some reason it's not working. But essentially, you can step back in time. You can click on each one. And if you hit Command Option Z, there we go. If I hit Command Option Z, notice what's happening here. It just goes on through to the last few things that were happening. Okay? So, and what's neat is, you can go back to, one of the first things we did, or you can go back to the last thing we did. It'll all stay in place as long as you just keep on clicking on these list items. It's all good there. Okay? But, now let's see, we want to go back here. Here's what happens. If I were to make any changes now, which is what I'm going to do in a moment, this stuff goes away because you can't have separate lists going. So it's going to take all these things that were in this list and erase them and then start basically a new track. Okay? So we've made our mistake. We're back to square 4 there. And now we're going to make some other changes. So we're going to go back into our hue saturation layer, and we're going to change the settings. So we'll double click on this guy here and change these settings. So the H is hue. I'm going to set that to 53. The saturation is going to be 44. There we go. And the brightness is minus 56. And there we go. So we're looking pretty good here. And the final step here is to, again, use the type tool, and we'll put the name down here at the bottom. So again, we'll do this trick. We'll come down here, create a new layer, and type in Elaine Gruyenke. And I will hit the check mark up here to tell it I'm done. But I can't see it, and it's not styled entirely properly. So I'll use the character panel, and we'll do all caps. And I'm going to use this time. This color chip is the same as this color chip, but these two are not the same as this. These guys work on vector-based artwork, which is what type is. This stuff works on pixels. We'll get to know that stuff later in the quarter. So let's put on some other kind of fun color. Maybe we'll just make this brighter so it pops a little bit better. That's nice. Kind of a blue. Maybe we'll change the hue a little bit. And that's nice. Click OK. And now we've saved this file under that new name, so I'm not going to make a new file, but I will do a save. So we'll just save all of our changes, and we are done.